You're here with me too.
Cool, cool. All right, Amanda, take it away. You're
Yeah, no problem. So Grace, is this your first time doing this with me?
yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So, with any of you,
Am I the only one on?
You are not.
there's another person online and I've got a few people in person, so I'll do my best to kind of direct my attention to our live in-person folks and our folks on Zoom. So for those that haven't participated, my name's Amanda. We're going to go through a few different exercises, all focused on improving our balance. And since this is a group exercise class, it's really important that each individual listens to their own bodies and, you know, only do what you know you're capable of. I'll do my best to describe the exercises so you can know whether it's appropriate for you or not. And if you have any concerns about whether it's safe for you or whether you're capable of doing it, please err on the side of caution and don't do anything that you cannot do safely at home. Later in the session, we're going to be using an object. We have these blocks here in person. If you have like a can at home or something similar to that, what we're going to be doing is using it as like an obstacle to practice stepping to. So just something that's about 4 to 6 inches tall would be perfect. And if you can't find anything, that's okay. A folded up towel would also work. And then also, if you have, it could be the same object, but just something that's light that you can hold on to, we're going to use to practice reaching later. So if you have something like that at home, that would be great as well. And then also a lot of our activities we do using a chair, either sitting on it or using the back of the chair to assist as a hand hold if you need it for balance. Okay, I think that's all of the kind of technicalities here. I'm going to go ahead and mute our folks that are at home just so that we're not getting a lot of background noise, but if you need to unmute because you have a question or because of any other reason, you can unmute yourself. I'm just going to go ahead and mute both our folks at home. Okay, let's get started with our warm-up. So sitting down, we're just going to do some knee extensions. So straighten your leg 10 times. We're just warming up our knee joint as well as our quadriceps muscle. It's a very important muscle for all kinds of activities, including walking and balancing. And back to kind of my safety briefing, if any of these cause any kind of pain or if after a few of them they start to hurt, only do as many as you can comfortably do. It's okay if you don't do as many as I say. Let's move to the other leg. Hi, Freddie.
Hi, Amanda. Sorry, I'm a little late.
That's okay. We're just getting started on the warm up. We have a few,
Okay.
so I'm going to be giving lots of descriptions on everything we do. Okay, up next, we're going to do some ankle pumps, warm up our calf muscles and our ankle joints.
Right, so the Chicago one, like anyway, a lot of new clients with this program.
Okay, once you've done about 10, you can switch ankles. I'm notoriously bad at keeping track of the numbers of things. I, get distracted by my own thoughts or conversations I'm hearing in the background. So, you can always just start doing the next one if you're realizing you've done the amount you're supposed to and I'm distracted. But okay, next we're gonna do some ankle circles. So going to the other ankle, just pick a direction, do about 10 circles in that direction, and then switch to the opposite direction.
So that's what's going on.
And then we'll switch ankles. Switch directions. Switch ankles. Switch directions. Okay, next we're going to do seated marches. So trying to sit up nice and tall. If you can, you don't need to use your arms, but if you need to, you can use your chair or your armrest to help. We're just going to lift our thighs up towards our chest. Just warming up our abdominal muscles as well as our hips. Getting us ready to do our standing activities. Okay, next we're going to do some shoulder circles. So arms out to the side and just do small to moderate sized circles in one direction. Here's another one where you can focus on sitting up nice and tall, work on your posture, make sure you're breathing. We're just warming up our shoulder joints. Okay, go the other direction. And if you find these uncomfortable, sometimes bringing your arms a little bit in front of you will make it more comfortable for some people. Okay, we're going to warm up our necks by doing some nods up and down. So bring your chin down towards your chest, then look up at the ceiling and repeat a handful of times. Okay, now let's do some rotations. So look to one side over your shoulder and then to the other. And repeat. Okay, we're going to move to some standing activities. And so this is where you can use the back of a chair for support. And with all these activities, obviously, you're just doing them to the extent that you are capable of. So if you need to use both hands to help for balance, you can. If you want to kind of just stand to the side and use one hand, you can. You can also use like a counter in the kitchen for help with this if you need. We're going to start with just doing some standing knee bends. So we're warming up our hamstring muscles here. We're going to do about 10 on each leg. Once you've done about 10, you can switch legs. Okay, we're going to do a few strengthening exercises now. The first one we're going to do, I call heel raises. We're going to raise up onto our toes, lifting our heels off of the ground. And when we do these, we want them to be nice and controlled. So if you can, don't let your heels just drop to the ground. You want to come up and then go slowly back down. And the average we should aim for is about 15. If this is a new activity to you and these are really challenging, it's okay to do fewer. And if this is super easy for you, you can do more. But 15 is kind of that middle ground we want to aim for. Remember to breathe while you're doing these exercises. And try to stand up nice and tall. And if you're only getting your heels a little bit off the ground, that's okay. Everybody has a different range of motion that they can move through. So don't compare yourself too much to what I'm doing. If you're only coming up a little bit, that's great. Just do your best. Once you've done 15, you can take a break. We'll move through a couple other exercises before repeating. You can always shake it out between exercises also. If your muscles are getting tired and stiff, it can be good sometimes to get the wiggles out in between exercises. The next one we're going to do, I call toe raises. It's kind of the opposite movement. We're going to do these one leg at a time. You're going to lift your toes off the ground as far as you can. I'll move to the side so that's easier to see. This is one a lot of people don't get a ton of motion, but that's okay. The muscle is on the front of our shin. We want to do about 10 on each leg here. We also want to do our best to be standing up nice and tall. Avoid the temptation to just rock your hips back to get that movement. We want to keep our hips nice and straight, and the movement's just happening at the ankle and foot. And once you've done 10, you can switch feet. And like I said on the last exercise, 10's just kind of that middle ground we're aiming for. If this is new to you and this is really challenging, it's okay to do less. Okay. And then the third strengthening exercise we're going to do is a hip exercise. This one is a little more challenging. We're going to raise our leg up to the side, and we want to do our best to lift it straight to the side as if we're like lying on the ground making a snow angel. And so if you're only coming a little bit off the ground, that's okay. I'd rather you have good control of the movement and stay standing nice and tall. And this one's more challenging. So if you can only get a handful on each leg, that's great. But if you can do up to 10, try to do that. Once you've done the amount you can do on your first leg, you can switch legs. This is a tough exercise, so good job pushing yourself to do it. The muscle we're working is on the sides of our hips here. It's one of our glute muscles. And strengthening it is really helpful for maintaining the stability of our pelvis when we're walking or going upstairs or going downstairs. So that's why we're trying to strengthen it. Okay. And finish up. If you're not done with your repetitions yet, we can shake it out. We're going to go through each of those exercises one more time. So take a couple good breaths. And we're going to go back to the heel raises. So going up onto our toes. We're aiming for about 15 here, but just doing our best wherever you're at. Doing our best to control the movement. Stay standing nice and tall. You can use as much support as you need from your chair or your counter. If you need to use both hands, that's totally okay. Give you a little more time to finish those up. You can shake them out if you're done. Or we move on to the toe raises, lifting our toes off the ground as far as we can. Want to try and do 10 on each foot. We're just doing the best we can. Doing some is better than doing none. So if you can only get a few, that's okay. You can obviously switch feet when you're done with the first one. Are you joining us?
Yes, I want to hear, see if I can see some.
Okay. Well, welcome.
My name is Lupe.
Hi, Lupe. I'm Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Okay, once you're done with that exercise, we're going to move to our standing hip raises. Lupe, I don't think you've done the balance class before, so just join in and do what you can. Right now we're doing some strengthening exercises, and we
Okay.
use the chair to help with our balance.
Okay.
So you can stand behind the chair if you'd like, and obviously only do the exercises that you're able to. Everybody's at different levels, so only do what you're comfortable doing. This next one we're going to do is a side leg raise. We're just lifting our foot up to the side as far as we can. And it's okay if we're only getting a little bit of movement. We want to try and control it and have good control of that movement. So do a little bit less movement, Lupe. Good. Yes. And we're going to try and do about 8 to 10 on each leg if we can. But I always say, just do what you're able to do. Everybody's at different levels. So if that number is too hard, that's okay. Just do your best. And once you've done your 8 or 10 or 5 or whatever you're able to do on the first leg, you can switch legs. And it's okay to face it, Lupe, that's perfect. I just stand to the side so that everybody can see me, but whatever works best for you. Okay. Very good. The next exercise we're going to do are called 30-second sit to stands. These are also another challenging one that I want everybody just to do their best. Like the name suggests, we're going to sit down and stand up repeatedly for 30 seconds. So ways that you can make this easier is by sitting in a higher surface. If the chair you're sitting in is too low for you, that can make it a lot more difficult. So sitting on a taller chair can make it easier. Ideally, you don't use your hands to stand up, you just use your legs. But if you need to, you can use your arms to help you if it's too difficult to stand up repeatedly. So the goal is to do as many as you can in 30 seconds, but just go at a pace that's comfortable for you. If that's only standing up a couple of times and sitting back down, that's okay. Do you have any questions, Lupe, or is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay, so let's all get in position and I'll count us down here in just a moment, and going as many sit to stands as you can for 30 seconds, but obviously listening to your own body and just doing what you're capable of. Okay, ready, set, go. Oh, careful. If you need to use your arms, that's okay. And it's okay if you have to go slow. Just do our best, but do it safely. And Joan, make sure you stand up all the way at the top. There you go. Good job. Okay, and good. That was 30 seconds. So we're going to rest. We'll do this 2 more times, but if you need to sit out one of the rounds, that's okay. If you want to take a break on this second one and join on the third one, if you want to do the second one, not do the third one, if you need to sit out the rest of them, that's okay. Everybody please be safe and just do what you're capable of. I know there's a lot of people here doing it for the first time, so. Okay, we'll catch our breath. Start in 5 seconds. Ready, set, go. Nice and controlled. Making sure we breathe. Good job. Good work, everybody. Okay, and 30 seconds. Good. We'll take a break. Everybody doing all right? Sort of. Just do what you can. Like I said, it's okay if you need to sit out this third one. This one's tough because we're working our muscles, but we're also working our heart and lungs by doing it for an extended period of time. So this activity can be fatiguing for sure. So we'll catch our breath for a little bit longer. We'll rest for another 20 seconds and then we'll do the last set of these. All right, get in position, ready, set, go. Good work, everybody. Okay, catch your breath. You did good. 5 more seconds. And done. Good work, everybody. We'll catch our breaths for a little bit. And the next activity we're going to do is going to be sitting down. So we're going to do some seated reaches. For those that have been here before, you can challenge yourself a little bit by including a ball. Thank you, Carrie. What we're going to do is we're going to start by reaching out to the side. And if you have an object that you can hold, that's great, because what we're going to do is we're going to go out to the side as far as we can. We're going to bring it in, and then with both hands, we're going to reach forward. And we're going to come back, and then we're going to reach with the other hand. So the object just kind of adds a little more to the movement. Something you have to hold on to your hand. So we're just going to do this for a little bit. So reaching side, forward, going back and forth. We're just practicing moving our center of gravity kind of outside of our normal support area. So this is good for, practicing passing.
For concentration also.
Yeah, also the concentration of moving an object. This is good for if you're at a table and with your family eating dinner and you have to pass the rice or pass the gravy or whatever you're eating for dinner. Passing that back and forth, practicing that. Okay, very good. Next, we're going to continue doing reaching, but now we're going to practice going kind of in other directions. So we're going to reach down to one side, kind of by the ankle, and then go to the other hand and reach up. And we're going to go back and forth like that. So down, and then up, down, and then up. Let's do this a few more times before we switch. Like going in this diagonal line, down to one direction, then up to the other. This is good practice because one way that people lose their balance is reaching down to pick things up or reaching up to put things on a shelf. It's easy to lose our balance there. Okay, let's switch sides. So now with whichever arm was going up, we're going to go down. And then switch hands and go up. So we're going opposite diagonal. Okay, very good. That concludes that part. We can place these objects out of our way so that we don't trip on them when we do our next thing. Uh-oh. Harry's trying to sabotage. Here, let's see. Here, I'll just put them in the basket. How about that? So they're not rolling around. Okay. The next exercise that we're going to do are going to be standing balance. So this is where you really want to have the back of a chair available to you to use. We're going to go through a variety of standing positions with our feet and practicing our balance in those positions. So we start easy and get to harder and harder positions with our feet. If we do a position that you cannot do safely, just do the position before that. So I'll explain this as we go. The first one that we're going to do is just standing with our feet hip width apart, and we're going to hold that for 30 seconds. For some, this might be easy. For others, just standing still, you might need a handhold, and that's okay. We're just going to do our best in each position, and we're holding this for about 20 more seconds before we go to the harder foot position. Use these 30-second windows as a time to, meditate or think about your grocery list or whatever you want. Okay, next we're going to bring our feet directly next to each other. So narrow stance. So this gets a little more difficult for some people. So again, if you need an object for balance, please have that close to you in case you need it. Safety is number one here. Nobody is supposed to be falling during these activities. So, and like I said, if this was too hard for you, you could just go to the, do the one that we did beforehand again. So as we progress these, if it's too difficult, just go back to the position before it. But it's okay if it's a little bit difficult. It's good to challenge ourselves as long as we can do that without falling. Okay, good. The next position is called semi-tandem. Our feet are going to be right next to each other, but one foot is going to be slightly in front of the other. So our toes are going to be kind of in the instep of the other foot. So I don't know if you can see my feet on the camera, but they're kind of staggered, but right next to each other. And we're going to hold that for 30 seconds. Usually as these get harder, you'll start to notice, you feel your feet kind of wiggling, your ankles wiggling a little bit, and that's okay. That's your muscles doing what they're supposed to do to control your balance. Okay, next we're going to do the same position, but just with the other foot a little bit in front. So still staggered, just putting the other foot a little bit in front and holding this for 30 seconds, doing our best. Yep, careful with it. And it's okay if you have to step out to correct yourself. Not the end of the world, just be careful, please. And like I said, if these get too challenging, you can just go to the position before that. Okay, very good. The next one is even harder. I call it the tightrope, but it's technically called tandem. We're going to be standing with our heels to our toes, as if we're on a balance beam or on a tightrope. If this is too challenging to you, go back to the one we did before, the semi-tandem, where your feet are kind of staggered. And that's okay. Careful, Lupe. I'm like, I want you closer to me so I can make sure no falling. Especially first time at balance class, it's okay if you have to take it a little easy, you'll get better at it over time. And yeah, it's also okay if you have your chair nice and close to you and you're using that for help, that's also okay. All right, good, we're gonna switch feet, but same position, heel to toe, the tightrope or the balance beam. And it's okay if you also need to make it a little bit easier by putting your feet just a little bit wider apart so that they're not directly in front. Yeah. So you can go kind of like in between the two positions. If you want to, instead of them being like this, they could be kind of like this a little bit. That's okay. Okay, very good. 30 seconds. For the sake of time, I'm going to move on. Some weeks we'll do that. We'll also do a single foot, but I'm going to skip that for today so we can do our more dynamic balance thing. So for this, we want an object of some kind. Luca, I'm going to give you, I think there's a cone here.
Oh, there is one here. I
That's
think
kind of
that's
big.
what it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than I want though. Let me find something smaller, just a moment.
There's one under the.
Yeah, I'm going to use this instead. Oh yeah, there's a little one over there, but this will work
one
just.
under-
Yeah, but those ones are too tall. I don't want how tall they are.
Okay.
Yeah, so, what,
Behind the chair.
yeah, so that you can use this for balance. You're gonna do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll show everybody though.
Oh,
Okay, so for this last little dynamic thing, you're gonna have an object, oh, can't see that on camera. You're gonna have an object in front of you. For the folks at home, you know, I said like a rolled up towel would work, or a can of soup, or just something that's about 4 to 6 inches tall. And what you're going to do is you're just going to lift one foot and place it gently on the object and then bring it back. So we're not stepping all the way onto it. We're just tapping it and coming down.
like a brake.
Yeah,
I
like
can use a brake.
yeah, it's like a brake in a car. And what we're doing here is we're kind of practicing balancing on one leg while the other leg is moving. So this is, you know, important for stepping onto sidewalks, going upstairs, all kinds of things. So if you need to use an item to really keep your balance, that's okay. This feels really easy for you. You can go without balance and just tap. So do about 10 on one leg and then switch legs. Good. One of our goals here is to keep this kind of controlled. So sometimes it's easy to tap and then come back down really fast, but try to take it really slow and control the movement the whole way as best you can. Good. Everybody doing okay with that? Okay, once you've done 10 on each foot, you can kind of take a little break, shake it out, then we'll do it again. Okay, whenever you're ready, you can do this again. If you find this really easy, next time we do it in class, you can use a taller object to make it more challenging. Okay, once you've done about 10, you can go to the other leg. Stop, everybody. Okay, next thing we're going to do with the same object, we're going to move it kind of to our side. You can just scoot it with your foot if you want, or you can change your position And we're gonna do the same thing, but instead of going straight in front of us, we're gonna lift our foot to the side and tap on it. Good. This is practicing the same thing now, just in a different alignment of motion. Once you've done about 10, you can switch feet. You can do that by just sliding the object if you'd like. Or you can just, turn around depending on what object you're using. You can do the other foot that way. Good. Okay, very good. We're going to finish with cooling down now. So you can move this object out of your way so you don't trip on it. The first thing we're going to do to cool down is a hip stretch. So we're actually going to be standing up. Sorry for those that already sat down. I should have done that first. I tricked you here. So we're going to go into a bit of a lunge position and lean our weight forward. This stretches our leg in the back. And if you're not feeling the stretch, try bringing your torso upright. If you're having difficulty feeling that stretch, you should feel it in the front of your back thigh. Take a couple deep breaths in each of these stretching positions. That can help you relax your muscles. And then we'll switch legs. Does that feel okay, Lupe? Yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing it right.
That's okay. We're just trying to get a stretch on the leg that's in the back. You should you should feel a little bit of a stretch on the front of your thigh there. Okay. The last few stretches we're going to do are going to be sitting down, so you can now sit in your chair. The first one we're going to do is a hamstring stretch. So pick a leg and straighten it out. And then you're just going to try and lean forward over your leg as far as you can. And hopefully you'll feel a stretch in the back of that leg. If you're really flexible, you can reach towards your toes. I feel the stretch right here though. Everybody's different flexibilities. Try to take a deep breath and relax. And then you can switch legs. Okay, we can come back up. We're going to stretch our necks now. So sitting up nice and tall, drop your chin to your chest. You should feel a stretch in the back of your neck. We're going to hold it here for 2 deep breaths. Just as far as you can. We don't want this to be painful, but hopefully you can get to a place where you feel that stretch in the back of your neck. Okay, then you're going to look up at the ceiling. Now we're stretching the front of our neck. Take a deep breath here. And another deep breath. Okay, good. And now we're going to stretch the side of our neck by bending our ear to our shoulder. Should feel a stretch on the open side of your neck. And then go to the opposite side, just as far as you can. Come back up. All right, that's all I have for us today. Thank you, everybody that attended.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm glad you got to come for a little bit. I'll be here again next Monday. And then that'll be my last Monday before the summer because I'm going to be on my clinical rotation. But then I'll be coming back in the fall. I don't know which day yet, but Linda will let you all know. And hopefully I'll be bringing some other students in to help me who can take over for when I graduate. So yeah, I'll be here next Monday.
What's your clinical rotation?
This summer, my clinical rotation is going to be at Marshall Medical Center in Placerville. I'm going to be in the inpatient rehab center there. So that'll
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks everybody that came.
Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome. And all of these exercises you can do at home. I know Linda recorded these, so maybe you can, ask her for access to them.